Hi and welcome to Life, the Universe and Music. I'm Craig Westwood. This is a series of videos telling the story of the Westy Music Project. And I'd like to ask you a favour. It's a difficult task raising awareness of my music from scratch. I decided to do it this way so I can build an audience for the music. But that can only really be done by you, the watcher, the listener, liking and subscribing. And this simply makes the YouTube robots bring more people to see this channel. So, go on, hit the button. Anyway, shameless plug over, on with the video. Last episode I was left in limbo. April the 12th was fast approaching and the end of my contract for artist development. Meanwhile, the guys at 360 weren't responding to messages and the 5 songs we were recording together weren't mixed, let alone mastered. I was contacted by Andrew first. He had left 360. Matthew was now running it on his own. Well, this kind of explained the situation. Andrew had started his own company. He was still going to arrange some open mics and gigs, and would I like to be involved? And I said, yeah, definitely. This left me in a strange position though with regard to my songs and my 360 contract. What do I do now? What rights do I have? Am I left completely high and dry with this? And no tracks at all. In the middle of all this, my mum fell seriously ill and was in the hospital. Mum lived in Sussex, me in Yorkshire, so I got the call from family there to go to her bedside, literally. And Mum died in early May 2017. By then, we were beyond the end date of the contract, but Matthew agreed to let me go back to do a mixing session to try and finish the tracks. When I got there though, he made it a point of saying, rather bluntly I thought, that he didn't have any obligation to help me finish anything. I guess in hindsight I could have actually argued that point more forcefully. I could have said that 360 had not held up their side of the contract, but that relationship was strained anyway and didn't bring out the best of my abilities. Did I want to continue that? Not really. So what I did instead then was this. I said to Matthew, I brought along a hard drive. Would you just copy me all of the stems and the Cubase files, and we'll leave things at that. At least then I had my recordings and control over the mixes, which I wanted anyway, though it meant I would probably have to do everything myself to get them released. It wasn't a win-win situation by any means, because it meant I hadn't got any finished songs, but they weren't going as I intended anyway. I didn't feel I had any control over those mixes with Matthew, so it was now very much up to me. Matthew did give me those stems and Cubase files. The stems were at final output level. A lot of them then were very quiet, so I ended up mainly going back to the Cubase files. Luckily I was familiar enough with Cubase to export them at the optimum level, and I came out of the session relieved. I hadn't lost my work so far, which was my biggest fear, I suppose, but I'd given myself a lot more work and a lot more learning. After this, I carried on doing open mics with Andrew quite regularly after the 360 contract was over. Also, he offered to help me with the remainder of my tracks, to help me build an album's worth of material, as we worked so well together. And so started the next chapter of the journey. In conclusion, am I bitter about the artist development experience? No. I think that I learned a great deal from that, which will stay with me for as long as I play and perform. There are so many positives. My voice got a lot stronger. I learnt more about my vocal range and its strength. I learnt a lot more about recording and mixing. I got back on a stage again. That's a big deal. I learnt to sing and play more confidently too. There is some disappointment, I must admit. Some of this I think was just down to personality differences between Matthew and I. And it shows that with artist development you may not always find people that you get on with. The important thing is to remain professional, be diplomatic, though when there are clashes you don't always get the best result out of the music that you're creating and producing. The main thing is to realise that and instead find people who give you the confidence to perform well, bring the best out of you, and who you work more comfortably with. These are the ones who, you know it straight away, they inspire you and help you improve. Firstly, thanks for watching this far. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share. These all help the channel to grow. And thank you in advance. Until the next one, Cheers, me dears.